Welcome to Week 11 of Walk the Plank, the podcast that takes an in-depth look at the Perry Athletic Department. We're joined, as always, by my co-host, Gene Winters. Thanks for being here, Gene.
Yeah, another exciting week. Unfortunately for volleyball, which I know we'll touch on, it came to an end, but a very exciting season, and now winter sports are practicing and right around the corner.
Yeah, first time volleyball has made it to that regional level since 1988, so we'll dive into that a little bit here later on in the podcast. And then we'll start to even preview a little bit of our winter season, which, as you mentioned, we're only a few weeks away from our first winter event of the year. November 22nd is our first girls basketball game. So, but we're still in the middle of the fall season for a couple of our sports. We've got our cheer and our football teams, and those are our athletes of the week this week. We'll start with our female athlete of the week. I'm joined by Grace Forney. Thanks for being here, Grace.
Thank you for having me.
All right. She is a member of our cheer squad. There you go, Grace. You get your free meal deal from Dairy Queen. You get a Blizzard. So thank you to the Perry DQ for always supporting our Athlete of the Week program here at Perry High School. Our cheerleaders had our showcase here for the Chagrin Valley Conference on October 26th. So it was a Sunday afternoon. We had about almost 20 schools here from the CVC. Each of them have about 5 to 7 minutes to do their thing, including stunting. Again, I'm biased. I said this, I think, right after it. I think we were the best team there. I don't know what you think about that, Grace, but it was a great way to showcase our cheer squad and all of the cheer squads that sometimes go, they fly under the radar. Yes, they're out there on Friday nights just like our football team, and they just don't always get those accolades or those highlights. So it's a great way to literally showcase them and their talents because they really are athletes. So, Grace, we're going to get into a little bit about your season here so far. You're a senior here on the cheer squad. When did you begin cheering, and how did you get involved in cheer from the start?
I started cheering my freshman year, and I kind of got involved because my sister did cheer like her whole life, so she introduced me to it.
So you really didn't start until freshman year, huh? No middle school?
No.
All right. How about anything in leading up to that cheer that sort of helped you, get into that in as a freshman, with gymnastics or anything, any background at all that sort of led you to that?
Yeah, I've done gymnastics my whole life. I stopped beginning of my freshman year, but
okay.
I did do gymnastics, and I think it definitely helped me have tighter motions, and it's definitely helped my flexibility. So.
And are you a part of the stunt team or stunt cheers that go on each Friday?
Yeah, I'm a flyer when we stunt. So kind of everybody stunts, but we kind of change people in and out of stunts based off where they're needed. So yeah, I mainly fly, but sometimes I'll be a back spot if needed.
So what's a flyer? I'm sorry, I have no idea.
A flyer is the one in the air.
Okay.
Yes.
I figured that was probably the case.
I've learned a little bit about this because, again, that showcase, we had several of the groups stunt that day, but there's essentially, let's see if I can get this right, Grace. We have a base, is that right? And then what's the middle one? That's the one I always forget.
There's a side base, a main base, a back spot, and a flyer.
Okay, so there you go. There were 4, so I was wrong. But it's something that the OHSAA has started allowing. Weirdly enough, we can't do it at playoff games now, which is strange. But the OHSAA did change the rules about 3 to 4 years ago, and then our conference, Chagrin Valley Conference, followed suit. And it is in our bylaws now that teams can stunt. So before that, it was not allowed at all. But I think we've embraced it very well. Coach Horsfall before, and now Coach Bowman. And the girls love to do it. So it's just another way to sort of show off that they truly are athletes and that they can do a lot of really athletic things. And if you watch them stunt on Friday night, that's for sure happening.
And we had Coach on, it was either last week or 2 weeks ago, and she talked about when college coaches, in your guys' off season or in the summer come down and work with you guys. What benefits and what, I guess, have you learned over the last couple of years pulling from a college coach that helped your guys, your routines each week?
They definitely help teach us harder stunts, and just they teach us new dances. So yeah, they kind of just teach us harder things that we can carry into the season.
And each week, are you guys coming with newer ideas, or are you guys, obviously you're probably working on things that you guys do well and bringing them back each week, but do you guys bring new ideas and try different things each week, or is it kind of on a needed basis?
Well, now that we're in playoffs, since we can't stunt, we don't are practicing stunts anymore. But like during the regular season, every practice we'd like come with a new stunt that we wanted to try, and then we'd just work on like our previous stunts.
And then you mentioned practice. Take us through a typical week. Now, last week was a little bit different because we were off. We did not have a game last week. We had a bye week, which was quite strange for everybody, probably from top to bottom throughout our school, not having a game when all these other schools were playing. How did you guys approach that bye week? Did you just sort of take off the week and sort of energize? And then what does a typical week of practice look like for you guys?
Yeah, last week we had the week off
Yeah.
to rest, and normally we have practice Tuesday, Thursday, and we'll practice our stunts and like go over any mistakes that we made on Friday. And then on Thursdays we'll like make the student section sign and go over which quarter cheer we're gonna do, and yeah.
Any special routines planned for this week? I know, like you said already, you can't stunt. So is there something different we're going to be doing, taking the stunning out of it, more dancing, different cheers, anything special for this Friday?
No,
No?
we don't. Yeah, we don't have anything
Okay.
planned.
What about, do we know what the theme is for student section yet? Has
I
that
think
been
it's
determined?
like rainy day.
Well, it is going to
Yeah.
rain,
Yeah.
so that's appropriate. Yeah, we're taping this on a Tuesday morning, so we're still a few days out from Friday, but the forecast does not look great. What does that change for you guys in terms of weather? So if it does rain, do you have rain suits? Do you do anything different versus like a 75 and sunny degree day and it's going to be 50 degrees and rain on Friday?
Well, if we could stunt, we
Yeah.
can't stunt in the
Right,
rain.
okay.
Because like we could slip and
Sure.
it could be dangerous. But we do have like raincoats and rain jackets. We look a little silly, but we stay
Okay.
dry. So.
Right, there you go.
And Mr. Rockwell alluded to it a little bit earlier, but the CVC showcase was here at Perry a couple weeks ago. How does like a routine like that, where you're going 5-7 minutes at a time, different from a Friday night?
Well, it's definitely a process. We have to put together like all the different pieces because for our routine we did 2 cheers and 2 stunts. So normally, or 2 dances. So normally we would do those like separately, and so at practice we had to figure out like what we were gonna do and then put it together and like transitions in between them. So it's definitely different.
And how much were you guys practicing, like on a typical week, you're getting ready for a Friday game, how much were you practicing for the showcase? Were you guys doing, a couple things each week to try to get ready for that, or did you guys just go that week and here's what we're doing on come Sunday?
So we started practicing like 3 weeks before pretty much, and we usually do like an hour of each practice. The practice before we did like the whole 2 hours just working on our showcase and doing like the like nitpicky little details of our routine.
And each week, obviously, you guys are there supporting the football team. How much did it mean for you guys seeing the football team there supporting you guys? Kind of a role reversal.
I think we all really appreciated seeing like a lot of the football boys there. Yeah, it was nice having their support.
And then, Grace, what is one thing you're going to miss? You're a senior, so this will be, potentially, now we're in the playoffs, it's win or go home. We win this week, we play again at home on the 14th of November, so hopefully it's not our last home game, but it has the potential to be. What are you going to miss the most when this season is over with, being together as a cheer squad?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna miss all the girls. This year we've really bonded and like gotten to know each other. Like previous years it hasn't been like that, so we really like have gotten close this year, and I'm definitely gonna miss them.
And it's enough. You're going to miss it enough. You're actually going to cheer for basketball now, right? Okay, so that's good. So your cheer career won't end whenever our run ends in football. You're going to cheer for basketball. So that'll start up and be right around the corner. Now, do a lot of the girls? Everybody might think that everybody just who does football does basketball, but that's not always the case, is it?
Yeah, most girls usually just do football because they do a lot of winter sports like
Okay.
gymnastics or dance. But I think a lot of girls this year are going to try to do both because our coach is being very like lenient, and we don't have to be at all the games if we have something else we have
Events
to be
going
at.
on and other things. Good. No, I love that. That's good. That's good stuff.
And you mentioned getting into cheerleading in your freshman year. I think it was game 2 against Kenston. It was youth night. What does it mean to being a senior, being someone that has spent the last 4 years as a cheerleader, bringing in all those young girls that have the aspirations to become you one day?
Yeah, it's really like a looking back moment because it's nice to know that they look up to us and like we could be a role model to them. So.
And as a footnote, it's great. I love it. We have about 100 cheerleaders on the side of the track there, from K to 12 in Perry, all dressed in their uniforms and cheering on the Pirates. It's pretty cool to see. We're going to have the same thing happen in the winter. So if people are interested, we will have a cheer clinic that's going to take place. I believe it's on a Sunday afternoon in January, and then they're going to come out to a basketball game in January later and do a halftime performance. So keep an eye out for that. It's a nice little fundraiser for our cheer squad and a way to, again, connect those groups all the way K to 12 with our cheer program. All right, Grace, great job. Before we get you out of here, just a couple of get-to-know-you questions here. What is your favorite food?
I'd have to say pasta.
Pasta. Okay. Any particular place you like to get your pasta? Is it a restaurant? Is it homemade? What are you thinking?
I do like some homemade.
Okay, perfect. How about your favorite subject in school?
Probably science.
Okay. Favorite movie or show or series?
I like Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy. All right. Any hobbies outside? You're a cheerleader for us both seasons. You're going hard for the majority of this school year. Any hobbies outside of your cheer?
I like to shop.
Okay, sounds good. Mr. Winters added this question in. He's looking for new apps or games. What is your favorite app or game on your phone?
I like to play Block Blast.
Block Blast.
Okay,
We've
that's
heard
been
that
a couple, yeah.
Yeah, all right. Block Blast, you're going to have to check that out.
Yes.
Favorite memory from Perry. So we've changed this question. We used to say, what's your favorite athletic memory? Grace, it can be anywhere from any of your experiences here at Perry. You're about 5 months away from walking across the stage and graduating. What are some of the favorite things you're going to take away from here when you do graduate?
Well, I think definitely winning the state championship was fun. That's probably like everybody's answer.
That's okay, yeah.
And then we had like our team sleepover this year,
Yeah.
and that was really fun.
Awesome. And last question, we'll get you out of here. Visit any place in the world. Money's not an object. Where are you heading? Where do you want to go?
Either Paris or Greece.
Okay, good answers. Good job overall today, Grace. Good work. Congratulations on being our Athlete of the Week. Make sure you take your certificate, and you'll see her out there on Friday night, probably in some rain gear. But she will be there along with the other Pirate cheerleaders rooting on our football team. Thanks for being here, Grace. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Grace Forney, senior for Perry cheerleaders.
Yeah, another exciting weekend, another exciting game coming up on Friday, and just like the football team or any of the fall sports, the cheerleaders and are preparing the same way, getting ready for what they need to do on Friday night to help support this team and get the fans energized for this home game.
Yeah, and let's keep it rolling. We'll go from cheer to football and call up Chase Svahn. Come on up, Chase. He is our male athlete of the week. Even though we were off last week, right? We had a bye. Chase, there you go. There's your certificate. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. So obviously, yeah, we did not have a game last week, so I have no real stats to present to you on Chase other than he's been a stalwart for us on the defensive side of the ball and really making some plays now on the offensive side of the ball. So he's a dual threat for us on both sides. And so Chase, let's just talk about the season in general from a team perspective. 2 weeks ago, we travel to Hawken and a resounding 55-10 win. That was a CVC championship game. We knew we'd had to win that game to sort of lock up that number 1 seed. How was our mentality coming into that week? And then obviously the game itself. Let's just break that down a little bit.
Well, we know we wanted to win the CVC. Is it 3 years in a row?
Yeah, 3rd year in a row. Yeah.
So we had our mindset set on that.
Yeah.
And for you, does it change? Like we talk every week, and we look at like a Geneva or a Hawken, and it's always, well, this is the biggest matchup of the year. And then each year you guys go out and beat whatever team it is pretty handily. Do you guys kind of look at it the same way? Like, hey, it's an 8-1 versus a 8-2 or whatever the records may be, two big, heavyweights clashing, or do you guys kind of look at it as another game because you've had success versus, we'll just use Hawken for an example.
Well, definitely like Kirtland, they're a powerhouse, so we see them as a big school, harder opponent. They prepare us for the playoffs. And then Hawken, yeah, they're 8-2. They're going to be good this year, so we couldn't lay off, and we had to keep the gas going.
And we really did. I mean, we started out so hot in that game, and then I don't even know what it was at halftime, but a 55-10 final. I know that's not what Hawken was expecting from that game. I don't know if we were expecting that, but the Pirates certainly showed up that night. And so, Chase, that game again allowed us to win the CVC championship third year in a row, lock up the number 1 seed. So that gave us a bye. Last week on Halloween. That was the biggest asked question in Perry for a while. Are we going to have Halloween? Or trick or treat? Or are we going to have to move it? And blah, blah. So, off the sort of sidebar question here, did you go trick or treating or did you go watch NDCL in Hubbard? What did you do on Halloween?
No, I did not. I went to the Cavs game instead.
Perfect. There you go. Got some basketball in. Excellent. Yeah. All right. Very good.
Was it strange preparing last week for, I guess, not a game? Like, eventually a game was coming, but kind of going into that bye week.
Yeah, it felt a little weird. We only had 3 practices. We practiced Monday, Tuesday, and then Friday. We were supposed to practice Thursday, but it was raining. So
yeah, it was a downpour rain. If everybody remembers, like that was sort of the plan. Was not to practice Wednesday, and then. And actually, the football team, we talked about them supporting our cheerleaders. I think they did a fantastic job. Many of our guys were down there supporting our volleyball team on Wednesday night, which we'll talk about that in a little bit, that match specifically. But we had 50 kids on the Spirit bus, which was awesome for Wednesday night, all the way down to Alliance. So it's an hour and 40 minutes each way, plus the match. I was really proud of our kids who came out that night and supported our team. All right, so Chase, we bye week last week, no practice, or I'm sorry, no game. Let's fast forward to this week. We now know it's NDCL, right? So they're 8-3. They had a pretty resounding win over Hubbard. What do we know about this NDCL team? And obviously it's early in the week, but I know you guys have been, probably given some sort of a glimpse of a game plan at this point. It's Tuesday morning. What do we know about the NDCL Lions here for this Friday?
Well, their QB can run, so we're going to need to stop that. They can throw a little bit, and then just stop the QB, basically.
Okay.
Did you have a preference on who you wanted to play? We had Nate on here last week. He kind of wanted NDCL because of some of the relationships and knowing some of the guys on the team. Did you have a preference, or is it just, we'll just play whoever's in front of us?
Well, I didn't really know much about Hubbard, so I wanted to play NDCL. We scrimmaged them, so I want to get back to them.
Okay.
Do you go back and watch any of that scrimmage tape, or is that so far along that, this is a completely different team from August?
No, we're completely different. We did not play that good in that scrimmage, and we got a lot better.
And so, as I mentioned, Chase sort of stars on both sides of the ball for us. He's a threat, certainly on the offensive side of the ball. One of our several. We have 5 or 6 wide receivers that Nate can throw to. Chase, where do you play on the defensive side of the ball? And so tell everybody just a little bit about what you're doing defensively, and do you have a preference between offense or defense?
I play safety. I basically just guard the receivers and then sometimes stop the run. I prefer defense more.
Okay.
And were you always a safety, or was it kind of a linebacker maybe in middle school that came back to the secondary, or have you always been in the back 4?
No, I've always been like safety.
And then, so you're a junior here. Where has your game evolved from when you first started here? Your freshman season. So you're in year 3 of 4. Where has your game gotten better in the last couple of years?
Definitely man-to-man. We had a bunch of D1 athletes, so I got to learn from them.
Yeah.
And then just went on from there.
And as a two-way player, how do you split your practices? How much time do you spend offensively? How much time do you spend defensively throughout a week?
Well, the days are different. So Monday will be defense, and then Tuesday will be offense, and Wednesday will be split.
And then Thursday's a little bit of a walkthrough, just prep,
Yeah.
trying to stay off the legs a little bit and be fresh for Friday. So, defensively, offensively, again, you're on both sides of the ball. You said, prefer defense a little bit. I mean, this defense over the last 3 years has really driven us and sort of been the backbone. Everybody always wants to talk about offense and, we average this many points a game. But conversely, defense, we give up very few points a game as well. So, to me, what is the best part of our defense this year? Again, been very strong over the last couple of years. What makes this group so good defensively?
Well, probably our defensive coordinator.
That helps.
He's really good.
Yeah. So let's talk about that a little bit. So defense. So I know one thing. We've talked to some other guys too on the team previously. So let's give a little glimpse behind the curtain here. So you've given some insight as to what NDCL. So you guys have what's a typical thing on a Saturday? The coaches are watching film, but your coach Niedzwiecki is bringing you guys right in on Sundays. Let's talk about our Sunday. What do you guys do in these Sunday meetings, Sunday nights?
We just prepare for the week, see what we're doing, line up against them, and yeah.
Okay.
And how much film is he bringing to you guys, or how much film are you watching before maybe a Sunday meeting?
Yeah, he brings a ton to the table, and then during the week we'll watch a lot of film by ourselves.
And then for how much, I guess, how beneficial is that? I mean, how much can you learn watching a film? Are you looking for tendencies? Are you looking for how a receiver, a tight end might line up to give away that play?
Well, yeah, watching film's key, because you'll see how they the receivers run the routes, what routes they run. Yeah.
And do you now 3 years in, and are you starting to see once they line up? Can you almost, I don't want to say predict the play, but kind of know what's coming between run and pass, or what route the receiver might be going?
Well, yeah, deep middle you'll be able to see the lineman if it's a pass or run, but you'll just be able to not predict the route, but know what they're doing more.
All right, Chase. Well, excellent job so far. Congratulations on an outstanding junior season to this point. Week 12, I guess, technically, of the football season. We didn't have a week 11, but is this Friday, 7 p.m. NDCL comes to town here. 7 p.m. kick in Alumni Stadium. Bring your rain gear in case it does rain. Tickets are available at the gate, or you can buy them in advance. They are $12 for adults, $5 for students. So that's going to be a change on both sides of the coin there. For our students normally get in free. We have to pay $5 now. Hopefully our student section is loud and ready to go. And the adult tickets are $12. Chase, before we get you out of here, just some get-to-know-you questions. What is your favorite food?
Cheeseburgers.
Cheeseburger. Any particular spot?
No,
your
not
favorite?
really,
Yeah.
just
Any
anywhere.
cheeseburger?
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite subject in school?
Probably science right now.
Okay. You have a favorite movie or a television show or a series?
Happy Gilmore 1.
Okay, the number one. All right.
Yep.
Did you see the second one yet?
Yeah, I did.
It's all right.
It's all right.
Yeah, okay. Any hobbies? You're a 3-sport athlete for us at a minimum. Football, basketball, baseball. Any time outside of those, do you have any hobbies?
Yeah, I like to fish and play video games.
Okay. Favorite app or game on your phone?
Probably Clash Royale right now.
Clash Royale.
Okay.
You have
We've
that
had
one?
I do not.
You
But we've
don't
had
have
that
that
a couple of times now.
All right. And then favorite memory from Perry. You're a junior. You've been here since kindergarten all the way up through. What are some of your favorite memories of being a Perry Pirate so far?
Well, obviously the state game, and then probably the Washington, D.C. trip.
Okay. That's good. Good to hear. And last question. We'll get you out of here, Chase. Visit any place in the world. Money is not an object. Where would you like to go?
Dubai.
Dubai. All right. That's a new one.
yeah,
I like
we have
that.
not
All
had
right. Okay. Chase, congratulations on a great year
Thank
so
you.
far. Good luck this Friday against NDCL.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, that's going to be the exciting part. Friday coming up, after the bye week, coming in and playing a team that is coming off a big win, a 35-13 win over Hubbard. So you get back into action, and with NDCL coming in at 8-3, it's going to be a 1 versus 8 coming up on Friday night.
Yeah, 1 versus 8, and like we said, it's sort of do or die. You're gonna win or go home at this point of the season, so it's an exciting time for our football program, and we'll just keep that train on a roll. And come on up, Coach Niedzwiecki, joining us today. Mr. Niedzwiecki is also our principal here at Perry High School, so we're going to have lots to talk about throughout our little time together here. Coach, thanks for joining us. We appreciate the time.
Yeah, and thanks for coming. We've asked Todd 1,000 times last year to come on, and he would never come on.
Very, very busy.
Yeah, we got to get him on now. And see how his roles changed a little bit too. Maybe he'll accommodate now. But so yeah, Coach, thanks for being here. Again, same sort of question that we had with Chase. Was it strange last week practicing without a game plan, without knowing who the opponent was going to be? What was some of our objectives from practices last week?
Yeah, it's a little different. It's a lot like summer practice. That's what it kind of felt like.
Yeah.
You're getting back to the basics, and it was really nice to have those 3 days where we practiced hard. To have the boys, the scout team run our own offense against us, the scout D run our own defense against the offense. So a lot of those guys that are asked to run off of cards or play somebody else's defense got to a whole week of working on our own schemes, and that helped the young guys out a lot. It was a big week for them.
Yeah, and so have you ever been in this situation before with a bye week in all your years of football? Have you ever had a bye week, to deal with, and how did, obviously it sounds like we approached it with a great mindset, but how did we come up with those ideas, and have you been in this situation?
Yeah, we have plenty of them, whether in college, sometimes they're built into the schedule, or high school, where different places I've been where we couldn't find a game. And there's really no perfect way to do it. I think it's really just knowing your kids, knowing what they can handle. Knowing how fresh they are, can they handle a break? Do they need routine? We've probably done it 10 different ways wherever I've been, but there's no secret sauce to it. Ours was pretty flexible. We were ready to go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, normal. Thursday, normal. Friday, off. And then the boys came to us and said, hey, we want to go to the volleyball game.
Right.
So we just bumped it around a little bit, and that became a great team building day for us.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was fun.
And for you, Doug, are you going into last week? Are you looking at NDCL? Are you looking at Hubbard? Are you trying to form a plan, or are you just waiting till the result comes Friday night?
There's always an advanced look, right? What was it? A typical week scrutiny? No, because some of that would be wasted time. You don't know, but you're looking at the base things that either team does, and trying to mimic that a little bit in practice, or I would just run these personnel groups against us, kind of thing. But you have an advanced look, but in terms of getting down into the tendencies, things like that didn't start till Saturday morning.
Did you go or just watch the stream, watch the film the next day? Relax?
We ended up relaxing that night. That was an odd Friday night for us as a family, and just got up early with the film as typical on Saturday and get to work. And
one thing I like to do a lot is look for common opponents. Obviously, NDCL and Perry played two teams that were the same in West G and Kenston. Do you guys look at that at all, or go back to those games and try to pull anything and kind of help build your plan for the week? Yeah, that's something we do. We've specifically asked for the Kenston film for that reason. They have ours. They played them right after us.
Right,
so
a week after,
you always want to take a look. You kind of know exactly where Kenston was at that time physically, and who's hurt, who's healthy, schemes. So that was one that we asked for. Going back a few weeks, but we wanted to do that.
And all that film prep and watching here over the last 2 or 3 days, what are you seeing from NDCL? What are some of the strengths that they bring to the table offensively?
I think their strength is their balance.
Yeah.
They throw well, they run well, they're big up front. You don't see the O-line making a lot of mental errors. Just not leaving guys free or just missing a block straight up. They're going to put a hat on a hat and make you beat them one-on-one eventually, right? You have to get off blocks. And on the flip side of that, which we'll get into more of your defense, but what are the strengths of your defense? I honestly, I think that their strength is their preparation. It is and preparation and effort. They put a ton of time in, understanding themselves, understanding the scheme, understanding the opponent, and that leads to adaptability in a game. They make quick adjustments and effort. I mean, those are the two things that they control really, really well. Those are their strengths.
And, you know, we've talked a lot through the first 11 weeks of Walk the Plank about the tough non-conference schedule. So how did that kind of prepare you for this moment here? And what maybe did you learn about your defense, about this team in the first 5 weeks?
We learned it's really good to be healthy. That helps. But no, even the guys that stepped in, we have a next guy up mentality. Everybody says that, but they truly do. I mean, our starting quarterback against Kirtland was our edge setter. That's where we were. Now Nate's our starting quarterback. So things have changed and evolved throughout the year. I think it was not so much as learning changes what we can do better. You know, that comes every week. It was a group of very young guys just getting more experience and figuring out how to win every single play based on the tools that they have. You know, we're not huge, so there's no weight classes in football. So you got to figure your way out to win regardless. And I think they started to do that as the season went on.
And you mentioned that no weight classes. Like we always seem, you know, over the last several years. And again, I really feel strongly that our defense was one of the big keys in us winning the state championship. I think we've had a program shift. Obviously, a new coach comes in, and Coach Guswich, and Coach Rosati would just try to outscore everybody. And I think our mentality has shifted where, all right, defense is important too, and we need to give time to it. And you mentioned the preparation. Gene mentioned the size. Like we always seem to have these smaller defensive linemen that just cause havoc. Though they're barely 200 pounds, and you're playing some teams like Chardon or Kirtland, or even this week with NDCL with some bigger guys. How do those little guys make cause so much havoc with a big weight differential like that?
Yeah, there can be an advantage to it.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously you're playing lower pad level, being short, you don't have a choice. So that helps. There's some games we go into and you're playing against offensive lines that are 280, 290, even more. And if we had the standard 6'2", 235 D linemen, it would be maybe a mismatch that they would just destroy us. But because maybe we're coming in at 5'11", 205, powerful in the weight room, but quick and just a little different look than I think what offensive linemen see all the time. There was a point in the season where we were not small up front with Trent and Sean, and Mason Bilicic was playing a lot, and before a couple guys got hurt. But we don't talk about it that much, other than everybody's bigger than us. So let's go. Let's find a way.
And before we get into each individual unit, Chase was our athlete of the week. What have you seen from him this year? Maybe growth from last year to this year. What kind of helped that nomination for the week?
Yeah, I think, first he named me as the important part of the defense, which I really think he did. So Mrs. Nedzwicki continues to feed him when he's over our house. So he knows what to do.
Perfect.
When the boys are over.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's, Chase is, he really, as you can see how focused he is when he's up here. I'm sitting over there watching him, and he's thoughtful, he's focused, he's intelligent. His effort is top notch. I mean, we give a black jersey out every single week for the individual that it's not always about making plays or ending with the highest production, but the individual who, through film study from the week before, just their effort was unbelievable. So he had the black effort jersey. He got to wear it for 2 weeks because of the bye.
Yeah.
He's really focused. He's really fast. He wants to be great. He's a fast learner. He makes a mistake now at this point in his career where, he's 3 years into the system. He makes a mistake. He comes right over on the sideline. You say a few words to him and it's fixed. He does that really, really well. So he's just fun to coach. All the Savon boys are. They're unique kids.
And they don't say a lot.
They do not. I was surprised he actually said this much.
Right.
You guys are great because you pulled some. Those are probably, and I've known Chase since probably 5 years old. I was his coach pitch coach. Back in the day, we won the league.
Okay, of
not for
course.
nothing
Not
there,
shocking.
but
These
yeah,
guys are competitive,
Chase was. So you see him from that age all the way to now. It's probably the most I've ever heard him say consecutively. Was right here at the black table.
And to play off that a little bit, I mean, being around these kids for so long, going back to youth, going back to Pee Wee to junior high, and seeing them continue to develop, it's probably almost like a proud father moment for them, for you as well, as these kids continue to blossom through the system.
Yeah, it's unique. That's small town football, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the relationships and the length of time that we get to know our kids, their families. We're all interconnected here in a small town in some way. They were around. It helps that my son was in that age.
Right.
But even when it's not a group like that, you get involved as a parent and you get to see these kids grow up and compete and know their strengths and weaknesses, and hopefully there's a trust level there before Friday night that's been built over many, many years.
All right. Well, Coach, good luck on Friday here with the NDCL Lions. Obviously, win in advance. We'll host again on the 14th of November. We'll update everybody. Obviously, hopefully we can pack the stands here on Friday night. Let's transition real quick over from football to a different hat that you wear in our building. You are the high school principal now. You served as the assistant principal here for, I lost track of 10 years prior to becoming the principal. So how has that transition been for you personally from that assistant role into the principal role? What are some of the major differences that you're experiencing?
Yeah, I think any high school principal that's had to do that can tell you that it's a little less dealing with kid issues, on the day-to-day, kind of the smaller kid issues that come up, and more of the adult issues, whether it's some initiatives district-wide, more meetings with adults and parents and staff and things like that. So it's been a great challenge. We have a great teaching staff here. We have great families in Perry. We really are blessed, and it's been great so far. Been here long enough. I don't even know if it's a honeymoon because I've been here so long already.
You don't get one of those.
No, but it's like anything else. There's going to be rocky roads, I'm sure, ahead, and always storms that come up. But I know one thing about Perry: the community, the families stick together. Their hearts are in the right place, and we'll get through whatever hard times come our way.
Yep.
Is your back hurting from carrying Coach Platt around?
No, heck no. He brought a lot to the table. He already knew so many of the kids and their families, and him being a Perry grad and resident, and he just brings, he stepped right into that role. He's doing great. Started a few of his own initiatives that were needed. And after me doing it for 10 years, he's handled that graciously. Not like, all right, dude, you screwed this up. But just jumped right in and tried to, and is working towards making improvements, which were needed.
Yeah, I think it's been a smooth transition across the board. Obviously, Ms. Porcello going over to the superintendent's role and people bumping around a little bit. But, Coach Platt, you guys have done a great job sort of getting this school year off to a great start, and we're rolling along. So here we are. It's mid-November already. It's sort of flown by.
It does. When you're winning football games and winning volleyball games and soccer games, and cross country had a great year, tennis, golf, like it. When all of those are going well and the band's performing well and having fun, they put on a great performance the other night, not too long ago, you know what? All of that, everybody's kind of refreshed and happy to be back, and it really, when it all comes together like that, it makes it a special start to the school year.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Good, Gene?
Yep.
All right, Mr. Didzwicki, thanks for being here.
All right,
Appreciate
gentlemen.
it. Coach, good luck on Friday.
All right.
NDCL, we'll see what happens, and hopefully we're playing for Week 13 here coming up.
And the one thing, and especially we've talked obviously a lot about the offense every single week, and we incorporate or sprinkle in the defense every now and again. But it's also nice to get that perspective because again, it's been a big part of the Pirates' success, and maybe it's not as flashy as the offensive side,
Yeah.
but those guys just grind in and get it done.
It's just, it's just a change in philosophy, and it happens anytime there's a coaching change across almost any sport and almost any level, whether it's high school, college, pro. When there's a new coach that comes in, they bring their ideas and their brand, and almost 99% of the time is going to be different
Right.
than the previous coach. Obviously, Coach Rosati did a fantastic job with our offense. Here, his philosophy was, we're just going to outscore you. And so, probably 75, 80% of the week of practice was devoted towards offense and not as much on defense. And that was his philosophy. It works very well. Was extremely successful here and won a lot of football games. So Coach Gueswich comes in, and he's more like certainly he's an offensive coach. He's the play caller for us. We're averaging 37 points a game, 38 points a game, something like that, after 55 against the second place team in the CVC. So obviously our offense is very prolific, but he gives the practice time to the defense, and he essentially. Coach Nzwicki is the defensive coordinator, but sort of he's in charge of that defense. He runs it completely. Coach Gueswich doesn't have much to do with it. That's how he wants it. And Coach Nzwicki obviously has been a head coach before. He's been defense coordinator, several different stops, and just knows what he's doing. And he sets the tone for our defense. He has high expectations of these guys to watch film and be prepared. And I think that's what he said our strength of our defense is just being prepared and knowing what's coming at them based on a formation that they see. He's calling what they're going to run from the sideline. These guys are recognizing, and that's a huge advantage when you can do that. And so when you're so well prepared and so well coached like we are, it certainly lends towards success on defense, and we've had that across the board over the last ever 3 to 4 years now. And a huge role in our state champion. We win 21-14 in the state championship game, and the defense is now just as good as our offense. And where in the past that just wasn't the philosophy of the coach. So we're in a great place, and I'm excited about Friday.
Yeah, and the last thing on the defense before we move over to
Yep.
volleyball, first 5 games, they're allowing 26.6 points a game.
Yeah.
Last 5, they're down to 12. I mean,
Yeah.
they've shaved off
Yeah.
giving up 2 touchdowns in the last 5 games, and kind of what we talk about for the last 2 years, finding that stride to close out the season, and I think the defense is right on that path.
Yeah, they are, and we gave up a lot of points to Kirtland.
Sure.
That was our sort of egg that we laid that game, and Kirtland's a very good team, not taking anything away from them. They forced a lot of people to lay eggs, across the entire scope of a season. So certainly no shame in that. They're a very good team. But, we gave up 44 points that night. Yep. We've gotten a ton better on both sides of the ball since that game. And so that's why it's always nice to play that game, because you go in and you compete against a team that's been in, 8 straight,
Right.
State title games. It's going to be a challenge. We want to win, but we also want to learn, what we need to do to get better. And I think we learn from that game every year, win or lose, what we need to do to improve. And we've certainly done it since giving up, 44 in that game. We're on the right track defensively. We come back the next week against a very good Chardon team. We're giving up 10 points until a minute and a half left, and then the last play of the game they bust one, and we end up giving up 17. But we've been locked in pretty much since that point, and we're excited for Friday.
Yeah, and so be sure to come out here again. $12 for adults, $5 for the students. Get out here, pack the stands for the football team coming up Friday night, 1-8 versus NDCL. Volleyball. We talked a little bit about the support that the football team had for them. Their regional semifinal, they came up just a little bit short against Holy Name.
Yeah, it's just started a little bit. I would never want to say it's nerves, or the girls would be able to tell us a little bit better exactly. But that first couple of sets, we just weren't ourselves, and we gave away a lot of points that we normally don't give away. Just a lot of unforced errors, in almost really in the second set more than even the first. But then we sort of woke up, and we played well, very well in the third set. We played like we've been accustomed to all years. Played some Perry volleyball. Got the win in the third set, so now it's 2-1. We're up 16-12 or 16-11, something like that, in the fourth set. So, you don't want to get too far ahead of yourselves. You're thinking, all right, we're going to a fifth set, and Holy Name made a run. And they're a very talented team. They had some girls that could really bang the ball, and they made a run, and we fell a couple of points short there in the fourth set. So we lost 3-1 to a very good Holy Name team, but super proud of the run that those girls had. We won another CVC title. We went 10-0 in the Chagrin Valley Conference. Lost only one set, so we won 30 sets and lost one in CVC play. We really stepped up outside of the CVC and made our conference schedule very tough and got us ready to make that run. So after sort of a disappointing early exit the year before, these girls made a great run and made history, really. I mean, first time since 1988 we've been in that match, and so could not be more proud of them.
And it looks like the lower underclassmen are there and ready to make that run next year. But as every season comes to an end, again, thanks to the seniors for all that they were able to do in their 4 years and even this year for the Pirates.
Yeah, and we've got Tatum Christian and Kendra Conrad playing in the CVC All-Star game here on Thursday. Well-deserved honor for those girls. And all of our seniors. We say it across the board in all of our sports. We will go as far as our seniors will take us. We need our senior leadership. We need them to be strong and quality leaders to sort of take those underclassmen along with them. And that class of seniors this year certainly did that on the volleyball side.
And then a couple of other housekeeping items as you're talking about the CVC All-Star game. Soccer was last night, both for the boys and the girls, and we had two representatives, one on each side.
Yep. Drew Tanish, Katie Rockwell both played for the boys and the girls, and it was a fun matchup. I think the boys tied their match, and our division, which is the Chagrin and Lake division, ended up coming back and winning 4-2. The girl from SG scored three goals in the second half. She was pretty impressive, but it was a windy, cold night out of Wycliffe, but thanks to the Blue Devils for hosting both of those events last night.
And then the other thing, the GCSSCA All-Conference Soccer for the Cleveland side were announced, and both boys and girls had some first-team and honorable mentions. Yeah,
definitely. Girls side, Andorra Porcello, Katie Rockwell, Haley Reed were all first-teamers. Aaliyah Gronchai, Bree Kissig, and Sophie Siegel were honorable mention. So congratulations to those girls. On the boys' side, Chance Schlau and Drew Tanish were first team. Honorable mentions were Cooper Schlau, Luke Loveland, and Will Cannonen. So again, and the volleyball match is set for Thursday at Wycliffe again. And we'll have more postseason honors for volleyball coming up. We haven't gotten into those as much yet because their season's just ending. But and once again, we sent an email out last week sort of notifying everybody and letting everybody know, and I think it's pretty well known at this point, but each team is going to have their own individual banquet, which typically happened anyway. It was just after our large gathering in Goodwin Theater, and our thought process behind this whole thing is we really want our teams to be able to celebrate what they've accomplished and talk about all of their athletes a little bit more in depth. Sometimes we rush around because we're all in the theater for an hour and a half, especially in the fall. It's a long one, and then you break out, and now you're in a hurry to get everybody out of there because, let's be honest, no one wants to be there for 4 hours on a Wednesday night. So we're really going to work on that, and I think this platform has allowed us to do that because we're getting even more in depth each and every week with our information and talking to our coaches and talking to our athletes of the week and sort of getting down into a lot more detail than we'd be able to provide you in Goodwin Theater, talking about each sport. So if you ever want updates, because some of the feedback, I want to know what other teams are doing. Just give us a listen. Not that you have to tune in for the entire hour, but we will update all of our sports each and every week here on this podcast and give some in-depth coverage as well to all sports.
And pretty much every athlete we mentioned from soccer has been on this show,
Yes.
going back either this year or last season. And this is easily, as Mr. Rockwell said, the best place to come because they open up. Like I tell you all the time,
Yeah.
I'm always afraid that we're going to get one-word answers or
Sure.
the kids are going to be shy. But every single athlete for the last, 40-plus shows have been phenomenal, opening up, giving the insight that you want about those teams and the individuals, getting to know them a little bit more as well, instead of just watching them from the stands or, maybe if they are friends with one of your kids, you get to know them a little bit better.
For sure, without a doubt. I learned something. I know a lot of these kids already, but then I learned something just talking to them and asking them these get to know you questions, and they're a little off the wall questions and stuff, but they have some unique answers and things that I would not have known either. So it's a great place to come. Next week we'll have we'll have our athletes of the week on. We'll probably have Coach Guestwich. We'll work on a couple of guests, outside, whether it's the News Herald or CVC, TV or website coverage there with the CVC. So we'll start to talk about girls basketball and boys basketball and wrestling and Swimming and girls basketball started on October 24th. So they've been at it now a good week and a half. Boys basketball just started yesterday. Had our first day of official boys basketball practice. Wrestling starts on November 14th. And then we will be offering gymnastics is going to start middle of the month as well. So, and those girls, we've talked to those, they don't ever stop anyway. So they're, that's nothing new for them. So we're sort of in this a little bit of a lull. Obviously, the majority of our fall sports are done, but winter is active, and we're scrimmaging soon, and we're doing things. So at some point we'll have Coach and Falvey on. They will be our first official winter athletic event of the year, of the season. It's November 22nd. That's Saturday, where our girls basketball will tip. So good little preview over the next couple of weeks. We'll get Coach and Falvey on here, and we'll talk about our girls basketball program.
Yeah, I believe they scrimmage tomorrow, so it's
Right around.
It's already here. They're a couple weeks in already for the winter season, but yeah, scrimmages start, and like you said, right before Thanksgiving, get their first handful of games in. It's that exciting part is you transition off a playoff run into a new season.
Yeah, new beginning. Yeah, without a doubt. All right, so that's a little preview for the next couple of weeks here as we take on Walk the Plank. Football Friday night. Don't let the rain keep you away. Come on out here and support this team as we look to advance on to Week 13 as we take on the NDCL Lions with a 7 p.m. kick. Until next week, go Pirates.